Hello, this is Jay Lee from OC Peace Punk. OC stands for Orange County. Today is Flashback Friday, so I'm going to read you a poem. But before I read you a poem, my friends and I, we come from the 80s peace punk, anarcho-punk movement. During that time in the 80s, we used to do like zines, fanzines, or organize events at like Pine Tree Park, picnics, vegetarian vegan picnics and stuff like that. Then in the 90s we started getting more serious and we all moved into a collective co-op house. At this communal house we would live all together with friends and we would share food, we would have weekly meetings, and it was not really a party house. However, we did have parties like once a month, but we would do group studies, have open discussion, which is the anarchist group studies and stuff like that. We organized. We would also travel to different states to network with other groups and organizations, check out different anarchist info shop, go to gatherings, go to like Food Not Bomb gatherings and stuff like that. And we did many things besides that, tons of benefits, ran a collective, we started Alternative Gathering Collective campaign by my roommate Frank, and tons of stuff, tons of beneficial organizing. Even friends who were not in the bands, all we do was organize. And finally, we opened up the Los Angeles Anarchist Center that was open for a year and a half. And from that center, we did all kinds of stuff. I could go on and talk for 3 hours. But however, since today's Friday, Flashback Friday, I'm going to read you this poem. I read this poem in Pasadena a couple weeks ago at the Peace Punk Gathering. It was a really amazing event that was organized by a few different people. They had bands, they had a DIY fashion show, and they had vendors, and all the bands were amazing, like Headdress, Argument, Dead Tribe, and a few other bands, like new bands I haven't heard before. Okay, so here's the poem that I read there. The torch. The torch was passed in 1985. We didn't know which direction to run. The torch was ignited, filled with energy through the music, literature, poems, zines, and ideas. We ran all night for many days and years without looking back. Our friends have slowly vanished without a trace. We planted small seeds that sprouted but drowned. Yet we kept going. When we stopped to take a break, it had been years, and we were all now grown adults with gray hair, wrinkled faces, and we aged like our parents. Realizing that torch had not yet passed to the next generation because it was never fully ignited. Now it's time for the young to light the torch. So begin to move once more, even if it is a slow walk of the old. We're sorry that we can't run the way we used to, but we will do our best to support you. Please lead us the way. So what this poem means is we had ideas and everything. We're running with the torch with the ideas, but the torch was never lighted. There was no fire in the torch. We're just running without the torch. For the younger generation, I feel bad for them because it's hard now to open up co-op houses or even a storefront for an info shop or like an anarchist center or anything like that, because the price of living back then was much cheaper to compare now. And the living situation was different. As the poem, what it meant by the older people, we can't run how we used to, is due to a lot of us either have family or have a career job, or just too old in general. So I believe that younger generation has much more energy and stuff. So that's what it meant, to lead us the way. We will follow you, but we cannot run how we used to because we're not that young anymore. All right, so that was the poem for Flashback Friday.